I was gonna do something. I was gonna film a video about something, a movie, possibly. Maybe something I saw at GenreBlast this year. What was it? What's going on, guys? Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to our platform, we are a publication and a platform that creates content like the one you're watching right now, simply to educate and engage viewers like yourself on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. My name is Capt Nostalgia. I have the pleasure of being a writer and podcaster here. And on this video, we're going to be talking about the independent movie Blank. Blank tells the story of struggling author Claire Rivers, who, much like There's Something About John's main subject, Emma McCrack, also suffers from writer's block. And so she decides that she is going to basically get away on a retreat, just be alone with nature for 30 days to finish her latest novel. It is actually here at the, quote, retreat, as the film puts it, that there's a malfunction within the system because the entire compound of the retreat, all artificial intelligence, gets hacked, and a misery-like situation inquires. Let me just talk about this film for a second. This film does atmosphere incredibly well. As I've said, this film has a shining quality to it. The more that it gets deeper and deeper into the film progressing, that I find really compelling. And if you guys have ever actually read Stephen King's novel For Misery, you guys know that about 2/3 into the book, there's actually a entire subplot where King's actually writing the Misery Chastain novel, and you're getting to read it as Paul Sheldon's actually writing it. Filmmaker Natalie Kennedy actually does something incredibly similar that reaches a point into the film where it's actually displaying the author's book as a subsequent subplot of this entire film. And that subplot gives the film one heck of a plot twist there at the end. I would even dare say that it changes the entire tone of the film in the best way possible. Rachel Shelley leads this cast as Claire, and she does a really, really fantastic job in this role. I think that here you have a character that's just a struggling author, and she does a really great job at just bringing that atmosphere to the screen. While her performance isn't quite as unhinged as Jack Nicholson's iconic Shining film is from 1980, she is quite a close runner-up for this type of film in the world of independent cinema. From someone that has gone through writer's block, I understand how frustrating it is to really just stare at a computer screen, or in this case, a typewriter, for hours on end, and just the circumstances of the film mixing with her writer's block. Kennedy does a really great job at just creating high tension. The isolation of the movie and its relying on technology and kind of how both kind of spin into this chaotic hurricane makes this film really well grounded for horror. There does reach a point in this movie where there is a tonal shift that I really wasn't super crazy about. I'm not gonna give any point into it. It's probably about 2/3 the way through the film, and I really feel like the placement of the subplot between her actually writing the book would have been better suited throughout the entire film, and not just her reaching this cabin. It should also be worth noting that Wayne Brady's in this movie, and he's actually a rather humorous and compelling part of this movie. Not to be outdone by his AI counterpart, Hyder Reed, who plays Rita for this film. You can kind of say that Rita is the antagonist for this movie. Say that Reed is truly one of the most terrifying parts of this movie. There's a scene in particular where It had me squirming in my seat, and I have quite a strong stomach, I want to boast, but Reed really got underneath of my skin and started trying to pop up out of it. This film's been paced incredibly well. I think one of the best things that Kennedy does is that she knows how to tell a story and knows how to tell it well. It sets up her entire Claire's kind of struggle, and throughout the very beginning you can kind of see how it's kind of taking place within the future, and then it kind of progresses into this retreat where it becomes more and more increasingly unhinged. Even more than its horror elements, this film does psychological thriller extremely well. In some cases, despite its futuristic setting, it actually feels kind of like a throwback to like late 80s, early 90s psychological thrillers. The cast is extremely small, but extremely talented. No performance is ever wasted on anything. Everything feels intentional and purposeful, and is just really compelling. And I think one of the biggest things that I love truly about this film is the Rita-Claire dynamic that the film gets increasingly into the more it goes on. The film speaks volumes about the challenges it takes to be original and actually stand out within the genre, which in the end also makes it a really smart film on top of everything else it does. I'm actually going to pull from this film's particular setting of isolation to talk about this film's mental health moment. The more that Claire finds herself isolated and away from the world, the more that she desires community and the more that she desires being around people. And honestly, when you're going through mental health, that is some of the best motives and mentalities that you can have, is to surround yourself with people, but not just any people, the right people, because honestly, environments affect our mental health more than we realize. And that's one of the things that, on top of its isolation, but it's also environment and just what Claire goes through in the course of this film, that really you can kind of see it, really understand how she's going through just this insane struggle as a creator and as someone that is just really trying to find peace and understand that the environment really isn't helping. So she spends the last act of the movie actually trying to escape said environment. And I would just want to encourage anyone that's watching this right now, if you're finding yourself in a less than desirable environment, it's going to have an effect on your mental health sooner or later. So please try and either speak up or find a new outlet or a new place to be, or a new group of friends or whatever, and consider the resources also in the descriptions below. That said, I'm going to go ahead and give Blank a solid 4 out of 5. This movie does atmospheric horror incredibly well. It really knows how to develop its characters and continuously has twists and turns that just leave you on the edge of your seat. This film wastes no performances and is paced incredibly well, and I hope that you guys can actually see this film when it comes to streaming services. And here's the hope that more films like the ones from this year's GenreBlast selection are being made to be put into your capabilities of watching it on streaming services or renting it, because this one is definitely worth a watch. So if you guys got a chance to catch this during its festival run, what did you guys think? Make sure that you guys comment below. Make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button or the like and follow button, whichever platform you guys are watching this on, so that you guys can follow our coverage of GenreBlast as we just keep pouring these films out. So thank you guys for watching.